All right, so I'm going to show two quick ways to add some fractions with unlike denominators. So I have 2/3 plus 1/6. All right, so one way to find a common denominator is to look at our two denominators. And here I have a 3, and over here I have a 6, okay? So let's think about the relationship between those. Well, can you make a 3 a 6? Yeah, 3 times 2 is 6. So if I want to make a common denominator, okay, I would have to multiply 2/3, I would have to multiply my denominator by 2. But whatever you do to your denominator, you must also do to your numerator. So you must also multiply your numerator by 2. So I could do 2/3 times 2/2 and get 4/6. So now 2/3 equals 4/6. So now I can just rewrite my problem, 4/6 plus 1/6. And now that's really easy to add. I have common denominators now. So 4/6 plus 1/6 equals 5/6. Let's do another one. All right, so let's do 2/5 plus 3/10. So again, look at your denominators, okay? Always look at my smaller denominator and see if I can multiply my smaller denominator by anything to get my larger one. Well, if my larger denominator is 10 and I have 5 here, so I could do 5 times 2 to get to 10. So I could multiply 2/5. I could multiply my denominator by 2, and again, whatever you do to your denominator, you must do to your numerator. So I also have to multiply my numerator by 2. So I could do 2/5 times 2/2 and get 2/10. Or sorry, 4/10. 2 times 2 is 4. So get 4/10 here. So 2/5 is equivalent, sorry about that, 2/5 is equivalent to 4/10. So I can do 4/10 plus 3/10. Now I have common denominators, and I can get 7/10 as my answer. Okay? Let's look at where something like that might not happen. So let's look at 2/3 plus 1/4. So here, if I'm looking at my 4 and I'm looking at my 3, I can't multiply anything by 3 to get 4. So another way to find a common denominator is what I call the QCD, or the quick common denominator. And one way to get a common denominator is to multiply your two denominators together. So I could multiply 3 times 4 and get 12. So that tells me I could use 12 as a common denominator. So if I want to use 12 as my common denominator, then I need to think, how could I get 3 times what would get me 12? Well, 3 times 4 would get me 12. So I could take my 2/3. If I multiply my denominator by 4, that means I also have to multiply my numerator by 4. So 2/3 times 4/4 would get me 8/12. So 2/3 is equivalent to 8/12. I also have 1/4 here, so I need to think, okay, if 12 is my common denominator, what times 4 would get me 12? Well, 3. So if I multiply my denominator by 3, I also need to multiply my numerator by 3. So 1/4 times 3/3 would get me 3/12. So I can add 3/12 here. So 8/12 plus 3/12 then gets me to 11/12. Now I can add that easier. Okay? So those are two strategies that you could use to help you find or to add fractions with uncommon denominators.